If you would have told me that outreach was going to look like me sharing the gospel for hours on end in Chiang Mai, or working in the hot sun for 2 weeks straight, or that I would be trying to make friends with prostitutes in Phuket, or that I would ride on a small boat to a completely Muslim village in the middle of the sea just to pray for the people there, well, I wouldn't have believed you. To be honest with you, I'm not sure what I expected outreach to look like. Maybe I thought that we would have a structured day and that we would do kids ministry, which we did. Maybe we would do house visits and pray for the sick, which we also did. But outreach really exceeded all of my expectations. It was wild and beautiful and exactly what we all didn't know we needed. I love that God is so strategic. Before our outreach even began, He began to prepare our hearts in the area of laying down our rights. He taught us in lecture phase to lay down our preferences, our opinions, and our comfortability at His feet, and to pick up and carry our cross. And I think that this really set the tone for our outreach. Because of this, we realized that we didn't get to go to Thailand because we were special. We weren't going because of some holy and grand calling that God only offers to elite Christians, but rather, we got to go to Thailand simply because we gave our yes to Jesus. On outreach, I learned that sometimes that yes is hard, but at other times, it brings more joy and beauty than I could ever have imagined. As we arrived in Thailand, it felt like we were blasted with the taste of new hospitality, spices, and flavors I didn't know existed. And culture, some of which brought heartbreaking discoveries. We learned that in Thailand, there is a saying that everyone lives by. To be Thai is to be Buddhist. We started outreach by going to one of the oldest temples in Chiang Mai to pray for the city and for the Spirit of God to fill the temples in Thailand with His truth. As we prayed, we asked God for His heart, and He gave it to us in unexpected ways. I'm not sure I will ever forget the way I felt watching a Thai Buddhist offer sacrifices and bow down to an idol. My heart sank to my stomach as I knew that all they were asking for would never actually be fulfilled. I longed to see them bow before the God that answers, the God that transforms. How beautiful it would be to see them bow before the King who would pick them up, dust them off, and speak words of love and mercy to them. Just like He did for me. In our second month of outreach, we went to Phuket, Thailand. It's hard to describe Phuket. It has such an interesting mix of Buddhism, Islam, and a party scene that puts movies to shame. But even in the midst of this chaos, we saw that God is on the move, and none of these things are greater than the God that we serve. As we spent our nights drinking our overpriced soda in the red light district, we tried to make friends with girls working in prostitution. The friends that we made became so precious to us, and I was surprised as we would return night after night that they still wanted to hang out with us. But I think it was less about spending time with us and more about the love that they saw in the God that lives within us. As we shared the hope and love of Christ with them, we prayed that one day their eyes would be opened and they would discover their worth in Jesus. I could list all of the opportunities that we had on outreach, or even all of the things that we learned, but the most important things are these. When we say yes to God and we are obedient to what He asks us to do, He will always be faithful. And the second is this: Jesus loves Thailand. Like, He really, really loves this place. As we prepared to come home, it was hard to say goodbye to the friends we had come to know. But we felt safe resting in this truth. God is more committed to Thailand than we'll ever be, and He loves His people.